As we highlighted on some of the earlier slides, the EpiPen was first approved by the FDA in 1987. Um, and one thing that I think is interesting and what we want to emphasize here as we're talking about innovation is it's usually an iterative process. There's an evolution aspect to innovation of technologies, particularly drug delivery systems. And what's interesting about the EpiPen is that it was approved in 1987, but we have not seen much innovation or shift in the technological characteristics of it from its original approval. And one thing that is important to highlight here is recognizing that the EpiPen is an emergency use autoinjector. What has been understood in the post-market lifecycle management of this product and products similar to this one is this increased need for reliability. And as the regulations have caught up in that understanding with even the reliability guidance coming from the FDA a couple of years ago, we are recognizing the limitations in technologies of this type that were approved several decades ago, but have not gone through the evolutionary cycle. And so when you start talking about things like introductions of generics, where the goal is to start driving down the price of development as well as prices for the consumer, we are faced with this challenge of recognizing that while we're driving down cost with the intent on the generic side, limitations or expectations like reliability and increased reliability controls tends to drive up costs for the manufacturer. So you have this dichotomy or this balance, this tug of war rather, that is happening in this technological space that we are still attempting to address, particularly for things like epinephrine autoinjectors, which are known to have these limitations when it comes to reliability. And I won't touch on this too much because we're going to get into this in another case study. But what's interesting here is that, epinephrine in this form is known to have stability limitations, which is what drove a lot of the design decisions that were made in the 80s. But what's interesting is that we've seen recent approvals like the Neffy nasal spray, which has modified and altered the formulation of this therapeutic to be able to incorporate it into a more streamlined and efficient and reliable drug delivery system that may not be as innovative from a traditional sense, that it's not super out of the box, but it is driving the innovation in the sense of improving access for the consumer, as well as addressing some of those increasing needs and controls around reliability.